Well, go on, everybody. Lennox here from Simple 123 Trader. Welcome to the playbook for February 14th, Sunday, to February 19th on Friday. Hope everybody's doing well and are safe. Let's take a look at what's shaping up for this week, and we'll look at all the major futures instruments. Okay, starting with the Australian dollar on the weekly time frame. And as noted from last week, my expectation was for price to push up to the previous resistance, and we are there currently. So what do we expect for this week? Let's drop down to the daily time frame, take a look at it. Okay, so last week we pulled back down as expected, and then turned around and pushed back to the upside again as expected. So because we're hitting resistance now, we could certainly see some easing off, although there's a lot of strength there in the Australian dollar. I'm not seeing this going through, like slicing through like butter. If it does, it might just be a fake out move, and it'll pull back down. So a little bit of hesitancy going into this week, I would say. So tread carefully with the Australian dollar. And that'll probably hold true for most of the pairs as they're all probably reaching a resistance area or a support area going into this week. Okay, so Australian dollar looking pretty strong overall. Again, maybe some hesitancy just for a bit, but that's what we have to look for. Okay, let's take a look at Bitcoin. Okay, Bitcoin last week also, we looked at this. Lots of strength, not much to stop this at this point. Mr. Musk, Elon Musk, has jumped in and into the waters and stirred it, and still looking pretty strong on the daily. Again, still looking strong, and my expectation was for this to hit 50,000 in short order, and it looks like we more than likely will push to 50,000 more than likely this week. But let's this is the daily time frame, so it is definitely a possibility that we'll see a 50,000 mark before the week is out. Okay, so looking pretty good for Bitcoin owners. All right, let's take a look at crude oil. Crude oil on the weekly also was very strong. It was at a very strong, sorry, resistance area. And this looks like it definitely wants to just slice through and continue to the upside. So again, looking forward to continued moves to the upside for crude oil. The Canadian dollar on the weekly, also lots of strength, but again, the call was for this resistance area to become a little bit of a block, and it too is looking pretty strong still, and room for this to push to the upside going into this week as well. So lots of strength in the Canadian dollar. The US dollar index on the weekly. Okay, again, last week expecting a pullback, and it certainly did that. And now I would expect a continuation to the downside, at least testing these lows coming up this week. So further downside for the US dollar, which bodes well for the Aussie and the Euro and the GBP and the New Zealand against the US dollar to the upside. All right, so US dollar looking a little bit weak and tepid going into this week. So continued weakness for the US dollar. The euro on the weekly, also after a pullback, is now looking to push back, and we should see a challenge of the previous resistance areas. And so looking pretty strong right now for the euro. And again, I would look for continued moves to the upside for the remainder of the week in the euro. The Swiss franc on the weekly also again had a pullback, and now is pushing back to the upside. So for this week, again, looking for further continuation of this move to the upside, and we could see a challenge of the previous highs coming up for this week as well. Okay, for gold on the weekly, okay, gold is still battling in this channel that it's been in. It's been in this channel here. I could even make it tighter for quite a while, and it looks like it wants to continue to the downside for the foreseeable future. So we could see prices coming back down to this previous support area here, and that's how it's looking overall. So continued weakness in gold in the short term, coming back down to the support area, and maybe even lower before this week is out. Okay, the Japanese yen on the weekly. Japanese yen is looking rather weak at this point. Okay, we've got a structure that's set up to continue to the downside, coming back down to previous support area here. So that's what I'll be looking for the remainder of this week, is further weakness in the Japanese yen. You can see that it is indeed quite weak, and expectancy to the downside. Right. The New Zealand dollar on the weekly. So this should be similar to the Aussie dollar. So we came back down to a support area, and we're pushing back up with strength. So for the remainder of the week, it looks like that strength will continue and will be assaulting the previous highs. Okay, so looking for strength going forward with New Zealand. Mexican peso on the weekly also had a pullback last week, and now is pushing again to the upside. So lots of strength in the Mexican peso right now, and it too is looking to push back to break through to new highs, and more than likely this week as well. Okay, the British pound. The British pound, lots of strength right now, very strong to the upside. So I'm not going to jump in its way. It's looking pretty good overall, and should continue its assault to new highs here as well. And it's already in new high territory as it is. Okay, so looking pretty strong there with the British pound. Okay, silver on the weekly. Since gold is taking a little dip, silver, will it do the same? It looks like a little different thing. We had a little bit of a pullback, but it's sort of consolidating and pushing back to the upside right now. So it looks like it wants to continue to the upside. So we might see a run back up into this area here for the remainder of the week. I don't know if it will make it up to the previous highs or not, but it's looking strong for silver compared to gold at this point. Okay, US 2000, the Russell 2000, also very strong, almost straight up in the air here, and that's a bit disconcerting when you see a chart going straight up in the air. However, still looking overall pretty strong, and some further moves for the week to the upside to break the new highs again going into this week. Okay, so very strong for the Russell 2000. The Dow also very strong to the upside. Not looking to have any turnarounds on this one either, and this is lots of strength, breaking to all-time highs and continuing its assault to the upside. The S&P 500, the same type of scenario, very strong to the upside, breaking to new highs, is still breaking to new highs, and all this week I expect further positive moves to the upside. The U.S. technology group is also similar to the others, very strong. Not seeing much of a pullback at any stage here at this point. Lots of new highs have been broken and making new highs every day. So it looks like it will continue into this week, especially since the earnings are still ongoing and stimulus package still yet to be set out. So There's a lot of expectations in the market for the new vaccines and stimulus package, and earnings are not too bad. So continued strength going forward into this week, it looks like, overall in most of the futures. All right, so that's a look at what's setting up for this week. So profitable trading to everyone. Be safe. I'm done now. Thank you.